Hi, and welcome back to Craft Along with Jay. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Yara, and I am so happy you could join me today. Today I'm collaborating with my sweet friend Nikki from Nikki's Eye for DIY, and we have decided to get together and craft all about animals. My theme for today is going to be farm animals. So it's going to have a rustic farmhousey feel to it. I'm really excited about it. Don't forget to go check out Nikki when you're done with this video. I'll leave the link to her channel down below. Project number one, I got this wood square from the Dollar Tree. I bought a bunch of these while it was still $1.25. And I haven't seen them in a while either, so I'm not sure if they still carry them or if they're just sold out. The top half I'm gonna paint with some antique wax, and the bottom I'm gonna paint with Waverly's chalk paint and plaster. And look at that nice crisp line. Oh, love seeing that. No bleeding. And then I got these farm animals in a pack of 5 from Hobby Lobby. Um, and I'm gonna paint them with plaster, and I'll distress them with some antique wax. Now I'm gonna keep showing my video like this. I end up changing my mind, but this really still turns out really well. So there's just two ways of doing it. So I'm gonna show you how to. I got this beautiful fabric from Hobby Lobby as well. And I'm gonna cover the part that we painted in plaster. And that's why we did it in that color, so that way it will still be white seeing through the fabric. Because it's a little bit on the thin side, and you can see the color behind it a little bit. And I just cut a piece that will fit that um, half of the wood board. And we're going to fold this up and save it for some other time. And I'm just going to lay it down and kind of figure out um, how much I need to kind of fold over, because I don't want it to fray too much at the top. So I'm just going to fold it over a little bit. And I'm just going to do that with some hot glue. And here I'm just folding it so it's even and kind of clamping them so I know it's straight. And then I'll just add some more glue as I go along. And don't forget to use those finger protectors, because you will feel the hot glue through the fabric. Here we go. And now it fits really well, and it's a nice straight line. Excuse me. And I'm going to use some Mod Podge to attach it. And I'm going to do it in sections. So I'm going to start on one side, and I'm just going to go up to the line where the plaster ends and the antique wax begins. And we'll give it a good coating. You don't need a whole lot of Mod Podge to glue the fabric down. Just enough, but you don't want it soaking wet. It will stick once it dries. And here I'm just doing it in sections. And it's just lining it up with the edge. And just make sure you have a little bit of extra fabric around the edges so we can fold it over. And that's what we're doing right here. I'm just doing a little bit along the edges and fold it over and just clamp it on there so um, it'll stay put. And we'll do that all the way around. And it will dry pretty quickly. Then we'll do the bottom part. And I do the ends first, so that way nothing will be hanging over. So this way it can be folded up neat and nice along the edge. The rest is easy to get it folded over. And then I'll just add a little bit on top, on the back to secure um, the fabric. Then once it's dry, I got this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. And here I'm just taking that little plastic wrapper off in the end. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot glue in between the strands and then just reshape it. Twist it a little bit and reshape it. That way we don't need that plastic. It doesn't look good. And you can fix it just with a little bit of hot glue. And I'm going to start at the top because that will be covered so you won't be able to see where it starts and where it ends. So that's why we start at the top. And we're just going to hot glue that around the perimeter of our wood board, like so. And we're going to go all the way around, doing the same thing. And I'm putting it on as it's laying down because I want it on the edge, but without, while the board can still be flush on the table, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm doing it laying down. And we'll just continue all the way around. And I won't show you all of it. Here, we're almost done. And you just cut off when you get to the end, kind of measure how much you need. And then, I'll still do the same thing with a little bit of hot glue in between the strands, and I'll twist them to keep its shape. And then we'll just glue it all the way along and do a little bit of hot glue onto the end of the strand so they can connect. And you see me doing this here in a second. Yep, like right there. There we go. And that's how it looks like so far. I think it looks super cute already. And here are the animals. I'm just writing out Home Sweet Home. There we go. So one word for each animal. So home, and then the pig is sweet, and then the chicken is another home. And then I'm gluing them on here. I do end up taking them off, but I will show you the end of this project because it is cute the way it is. I just had some other ideas going around in my head, and I changed my mind. But it all turns out super cute at the end. And then you just glue the animals up here, like so. And then I add the jute twine back in as to hang it at some point too, and I'm not showing that. But here I'm taking some burlap ribbon, kind of measure out. I'm going to make a little bow up there. And I'm going to do this the easy way. So the next piece of burlap that I cut is going to be a tad bit smaller than the first one. And then we're going to do a little bit of hot glue along the edge. And then we'll just overlap it and glue it together so it becomes a circle. And I'll do the same thing to the smaller one. Add some hot glue, overlap a little bit, and glue it together. Then I take the larger one and flatten it down. And I do the same thing with the other one, and I'm going to lay that on top, like so. Then I take a piece of jute twine, but realizing I forgot to cut a tail, so that's what I'm doing now, and I just need a very short one. So I'm taking this one, finding the middle, then I scrunch it up and twist it downwards. I think this is the easiest way to attach a little tail when it's all scrunched up like that in the middle. And here I just take my little jute twine and go around so that I'll tie it in the back. And I'll double knot that thing. And as you tighten it up, it'll scrunch down the bow as well. So you have the tail in the back and then the two circles that we made on top. And then once you're tied that in the back, you can just adjust the tails. And here I'm going to ducktail them. So I fold them over and cut them diagonally. And then I'll fluff up my bow. And then we're going to glue that to the top part of our sign once I'm done fluffing. And then I put some greenery in there, and that's what it looks like with the animals. Super cute. But I took them off and I went to my Cricut and I got this little sign that I found in Cricut Design Space, and I printed that out. And here I'm just using my transfer tape. It gave me a bit of a hard time attaching it, and I don't know if it's because I used um, the wax and it just doesn't attach to the wax very well, or if it's my paper, my vinyl paper. It is Dollar Tree, so it's not the best, but that's all I had in white. But finally, after some struggles, I got it on. And then I just attached some, not attached, I painted some Mod Podge on top to keep it in place. And that's kind of what it looked like. I think it was super, super darling. All right, so for project number two, I cut out the chickens. I got that out of the a calendar from the Dollar Tree, and I just, cut it around the edge of the chickens. And then I got this wood piece. I think it's from Walmart, and I painted that with plaster. And then I'm distressing it with black. I think that's from Apple Barrel Black. And I just distress it to how I like it. You can do as much or as little or nothing at all. Whatever you like and whatever fits your style. And then I just used some Elmer's glue on the back of my chicken from the calendar, and I'll glue that on top like so. And this is another piece that you want to cover with some Mod Podge just to make sure it's sealed in. But I really like this picture of the chickens. I think it's so cute. And here I go over with my Mod Podge. And that way it's not going anywhere. It's sealed it in. And then once I'm done with that, I got this home ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I just made a awareness bow with that. And then I got this other ribbon, the buffalo check, and I just did a regular shoestring bow, and I attached them together and glued in the corner and got a little green a button, I'm sorry, a little green button. All right, for project number three, we're going to use this large bamboo cutting board from the Dollar Tree, and I painted one side antique green and the other one plaster. And then we're going to use some of this shelving paper from the Dollar Tree as well. I think it is beautiful. I love this thing. And we're just going to trace a little cutting board around it and cut it out. And I did the antique green on the back of my cutting board just to tie it into my green button on my previous project. Just the small things. But I thought it was kind of cute. So that's why I did in that color. You can do any color. That was just my reasoning. Then once I cut my shelving paper out, I just peel the backing off and then I just attach it to the white part of my cutting board. And then just kind of smooth it out and make sure it's on there tight. That's what it looks like. I love this paper. I think it's gorgeous. And here I got my little farm animals again. And then I'm decided I'm going to paint them black this time. And I paint all three of them black, and they each get two coats to get complete coverage. And then I got these sticker letters. So here's the trick with these that I found is very helpful. I just picked out the letters that I needed, but because they're so shiny and smooth, it's hard for the paint to stick on and look good. But if you just sand it very gently, it takes some of that smoothness off, so when you paint them, you can't even tell. It looks really good, and you get full coverage. It's nothing you can wipe off when it dries, anything like that. So here, that's what you saw. I just sanded it a little bit, and then I'm just painting over because I didn't want pink or red letters. And then once I've done the letters I need, I'll just start peeling them off. And we're gonna start with the chicken, and we're gonna spell out farm. And I just use my little Cricut tool to help get them off the paper and also to get the pieces off in between, like in the little circle part of the A and so forth. It's very helpful. Even if you need to adjust the stickers, they're very adjustable, so it kind of works out. And then on the pig, we're going to write, spell out sweet, and then on the cow, it will be farm again. And as before, we're going to cover this with some Mod Podge to seal in the paper or the stickers. But I really like how this one turned out as well. So we're going to get the last one here. We're adjusting the M and it all looks good. And here we go with the Mod Podge. We do the same thing to all three of them. And then I'm going to lay them on my board where I want them. So it'll be farm, sweet farm. And I'm lining them up. And then we'll just use some hot glue and glue them down. But I like how this one turned out, and I was so excited. I've been wanting to make some farmhouse animal decor pieces for my kitchen nook area. I got some shelves in there, and I already got them sitting in there, and it looks perfect. So I was so excited to do this one. I just love farm animals. I think they're so cute and so much fun. So it's gonna be simple. We're not quite done. We're gonna make a little jute twine finger bow just to add just a little extra. But I keep it simple. Sometimes I like things simple, not too much poof going around. And since this is Rustic Farmhouse, I didn't want to do too much. And this is perfect, I think. So I just made 4 loops on each side. And then we're going to tighten up. And then just see if you need to adjust a little bit. And then just cut the tails to the same length. And then we'll hot glue that down in the corner of our board right there. And then I just got a little black button. And we're going to glue that right in the middle of our bow. And that will be it for this one. Let me know what you think about these projects. I think they're so much fun and I just think they are so adorable. Well, let me know what you think. And let's take a look at all of them. And here they are. So I like the changes that I made, but I just showed you both ways because you can do it either way. I think they're both cute. But this is what I decided to do. And sometimes when I craft, I change my mind and I change the project. But you do you. But if you made it all the way to the end with me, I appreciate that so much. It means a lot to me. And don't forget to check out Nikki. Her link is down in my description box. Go check her out. She's super talented. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, and comment. I would really appreciate it. Until next time.